start off with showing you guys a couple of cartwheels and then we'll break it down. I'll go first and then Julia will follow. So, as you can see, when I start my cartwheel, I start in a staggered stance. For me, that's with my left leg forward. For you, it might be your right leg forward. Now, as I go into my cartwheel, I have my hands up really high. I want to be really pressing through my shoulders as I go into a cartwheel. And I start by slowly tipping at the hips. I want to get lower so that my hands are closer to the ground. And now, as I tip, I add lifting up my back leg at the same time. So I end up in this sort of Superman position. Now, on top of that, the next step is to also bend your front leg while you lift this half leg and place your left hand down. The hand you place down first is the same hand as your leg that is forward. So for me, left leg forward, left hand goes down first. Now the important tricky thing about the hand placement that gets you a good form in your cartwheel is actually having this hand perpendicular, again 90 degrees so that it comes at it like a cross, to the imaginary line that you're cartwheeling on. So as I go down, I sort of twist my hand this way to my body and do the same thing with my other hand. So it ends up like a little bit like I'm turning a wheel while I'm going down in my cartwheel. So I'll try and do it in slow motion so you can follow along and see a little bit easier what I'm doing. Staggered stance, hands up high. I go down, lift my leg, bend and come over and land facing the opposite direction I came from with instead of my left leg forward, my right leg forward. But still, hands up high in a bit of a hollow body, looking the way I came. So now we're going to break down cartwheels a little bit more with Julia here. We're going to go in a little bit of slow motion and kind of go step by step so that you can see exactly how the body works going into a cartwheel. So first, Julia's going to lunge with her right leg. And see how her body is straight, and there's sort of like a straight line down her spine. And as she goes to reach for the floor, she's going to keep that line and lift her back leg, and all staying in line as she goes down to the floor. You can come back down, Julia. So it's very important that you keep this sort of like lunge line as you go into the floor, or else you're going to just collapse and fall on your head. And we don't want that to happen, especially not at your parents' house where there might be breakable things. Alright, now Julia's going to go into a full cartwheel, and we're going to be looking for that line that's straight, that lunge into it, as well as the hands making a sort of circular motion in order to align her fully, so that when she's midway through her cartwheel, she's essentially in this sort of a handstand in a straddle stance. And we'll pause there so you guys can have the opportunity to see exactly what that looks like. You ready, Julia?
Ready.
All right. And see, we have a handstand right here, and Julia's going to come right back out of it, facing the opposite direction that she came from. Great work, Julia.
Thanks.
Now we're going to show you some quick drills to do if you're having trouble getting your legs over your head while you're doing your cartwheel, or with your hand placement, because those are some of the most common problems that you might encounter while doing your cartwheels. So first, we're going to start with a little hand placement drill. We're going to watch Julia, and what she's going to do is, as she goes into her lunge for her cartwheel, she's not going to fully complete her cartwheel. She's just going to have her hands here, and then rotate them around to come into line as she goes down, and then come back up and do that just like a couple of times. Take it away, Julia. See how her hands are straight forward, and then come into line on the ground on the imaginary line that she's cartwheeling on, and then she comes back up, and her hands are back in line again. Can you do that one more time for us, Julia? Thank you. And they rotate, and they come down, and Julia's already on to the next exercise we're going to do with bringing her leg up at the same time. So another common problem with cartwheels is that you don't get quite enough lift from that back leg, which is really what allows you to enter that rotation to to follow through with your cartwheel. So what we're going to do is a little bit of a drill that helps with those kicks. So what Julia's going to do is come down and just touch the floor and kick with her back leg to get used to that momentum building. And see, I almost knocked myself off balance because I kicked so hard. And that's okay, just don't fall on your head. Would you take it away for us, Julia? Coming down, see how that leg comes all the way up, almost kicking my hand above her. And it's giving her a lot of force to enter into a circular rotation to finish her cartwheel. And do that on both sides because we're going to do cartwheels on both sides for the recital. And if you do about like 10 of those each day, you should start to see drastic improvements in your cartwheel. So we're going to move on to how to link cartwheels together and how to enter into somersaults and other stuff from cartwheels. If you're still experiencing difficulties with just the cartwheels themselves, don't worry about it. We'll solve it in class together when I can see exactly what's going on and I can spot you and help you figure out exactly how your body is moving through space and how to get that full rotation and press through your arms in order to get your cartwheel. So, like I said, we're going to be doing continuous cartwheels, which you may wonder, how do I do a continuous cartwheel if I do a cartwheel correctly, I'm facing the opposite direction? Well, I'll show you. So, I start with my left leg in front of you most of the time, and I'll do my cartwheel, and I'll come facing this way, and I'll do a quick turn, inside turn, which means turning to your leg that's back, which is my left leg, the leg that was originally forward. I turn, and I immediately, left leg is forward, and able to go right into the same cartwheel. And I can turn again, or I can end this way, up to you. Now Julia is going to show you some of her continuous cartwheels. And you'll note how it can be a pretty quick turn. Now if you want to add speed to your continuous cartwheels, I like to add a little extra bit of a lunge so I get lower and I can add more momentum. So if we start here, we go. Get a little bit more height and a little bit more speed that adds a bit of a spring to your step. Sort of similar to how I have us do when we're skipping or when we're chasseing. So now we're going to show Julia doing some continuous cartwheels, but she's going to pause in between so we can see that pivot turn happen and how exactly she does that to get right in the same stance she would be for another cartwheel. Julia's starting with her left leg and she's going to do her cartwheel and finish facing the opposite direction with her right leg forward. So in order to face the opposite direction, Julia just turns and has her left leg forward and right leg back. And she is able to do another cartwheel. And then she can face this way or turn and be ready for another cartwheel if we had more mass. As I said before, we're going to be doing some cartwheels into forward rolls. That should be fairly simple, but I'll break it down. It involves that same sort of pivot turn so that you face the same direction you're going originally after you do your cartwheel. So I'm going to start with my cartwheel. My left leg is forward. I'm going to come up, lunge down, kick up, over, and facing this way, but I'm going to pivot turn so that I'm facing this way. And I'm going to come down into my forward roll and land up with my arms above my head like a true gymnast. And now we're going to have Julia show you it in a little bit of slow motion so that we can break down the steps. So Julia's here, left leg in front. She's going to cartwheel, rotating her arms so that they're perpendicular to her imaginary line. Pivot turns her around and goes down, lunges down, but as she lunges, she brings her legs together so that she can go into a forward roll and have her feet together in that roll in a tight tuck and land up with her arms above her head like a great gymnast of the Olympics. Alright guys, I hope you are practicing your cartwheels. Remember that even though I only did a couple of cartwheels throughout the class, the main point is for you guys to do as many as you can until you get tired. A good place to practice cartwheels is probably not in your house. But maybe look for a backyard if you have one, or if you don't have a backyard, just like an open room if you have one in your house, or a park if that's okay, if your parents are comfortable allowing you to go for a park. That's where I practiced a lot of my cartwheels, on a nice like soft ground, so that if I did happen to fall, it wouldn't hurt as much. Other than that, please cool down after you've been cartwheeling with some more of those straddle stretches and just some like hamstring stretches and touching your toes and stuff. And check out the next video for some tumbling stuff. Thank you guys.